All right, guys, welcome to the channel. Jarrod, he is R-E-I Jarrod on YouTube. You guys go check him out. He's doing co-living, all right? And I am also doing co-living, but we get a lot of questions about the co-living model. Jarrod, we're going to talk about your history for the last, probably the next 5 minutes. I want to hear about your last year of history on co-living. And we'll jump into a handful of questions so that people can reach out to you also and know, all right, Pace is full of crap because he just makes everything up. But Jarrod, you don't look like a guy that makes things up, so they can reach out to you. Also, REI Jarrod on Instagram. Jarrod, how many co-living properties do you own?
I have 3.
Okay, and how are those 3 doing?
They're doing fantastic. I'm really impressed with how well they're performing, actually, because a year and a half ago, I didn't know anything about real estate or anything. So I just went for it, and I'm glad they're working out.
A year and a half ago, you had no cash flow. Today, you have net $4,500 a month in cash flow.
Conservatively, yeah, but I've hit $6,000 net the last couple of months, except for this past month, we hit $4,500, so yeah, conservatively.
So with 3 properties, you can be at $6,000 a month net. These are 3 single-family homes, not big Airbnbs, not multifamily, not RV parks, none of that stuff. He's making roughly $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Now, a year and a half ago, how the heck what made you get into real estate?
I read a book called Tax-Free Wealth.
Shout out Tom Wheelwright.
Tom Wheelwright, and then actually it was a year and a half ago, but I didn't start co-living until January of this year. So
10 months.
Yeah, I had $111,000 this last month gross in 10 months, 9 months. Yeah.
Wow.
26K net, if anybody's interested.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Thanks.
Since January of this year.
Yeah, because the first house I bought it and ran it as a short-term rental for tax purposes, and then January 1 flipped it over to co-living and went from there. We had it's 8 bedroom, and we filled it in 12 days, so it was nice.
Why do you like the co-living model?
Well, I like multifamily, but I don't like the debt structure, and I know you're going to say seller finance and all that. So for me, it's kind of a combo of multifamily and a single family property where I can get 30-year fixed rate debt. But the real reason is, well, the taxes are the real reason for the real estate investing. But if I lose a member, I'm not down. I do all my numbers at 6 out of the 8 bedrooms, and I do that because that's kind of a really conservative. I'm usually around 7 or something like that, 7 out of the 8. But if I lose a member, I'm not down. I still have income coming in. And the way I like 8 because as long as I have 4 beds, I pay the mortgage. The 5th one pays the utilities. So 6, 7, and 8 is all profit. So for me, if I can stay in the 6, 7, I'm golden.
I love that. That's how I feel about it. And I also agree with you on the multifamily debt structure. We do seller finance and SubTo on all of our multifamily stuff because if I go and acquire anything multifamily with the multifamily debt structure, I call it all toxic debt. I don't like it. It's 5-year, 3-year, 7-year, 15-year. A lot of it's interest only. I'm just not a big fan of any of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so common myths around co-living. I would say the first one is your tenant type. What would you say is your tenant type?
I thought that too. Actually, I didn't really know what I was getting into, but as I started meeting people that were just trying to save money on living expenses, or people that were trying to save up to buy a house, or it's not anything like I thought. Like I mentioned in another video, I have insurance agents, I have nurses, I've got insurance adjusters. Insurance came up there a lot. I do have some contract workers that come for 4 or 5 months at a time. But yeah, it's not what I thought it was.
Yeah, I think the average tenant that people believe, and I did too, are people that are like drug addicts and they can't afford the thing. But it seems to be quite the opposite. It's all working professionals, people that are actually very smart with their money. They're all sitting there going, I can use this model for 6 months to get myself financially flush, because the average rent in Maricopa County, where you're focused right now, the average rent is $1,700 for a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment in our Maricopa area. Of course, there's areas you can rent for $1,000, but most of them are $1,700. Then you've got utilities. Then you've got cleaning and all your own stuff. So the average person's renting for about $2,000 a month here when you take all the utilities into consideration. Your cost is how much money with everything included?
My cost per month?
I'm sorry, your charge to your members.
Oh, it's about $200 a week. We do have a 30-day commitment, right? So they come on board for 30 days, and after that's week to week, but it's $200 a week. And that's all in. That's utilities. And now keep in mind, this is in the Arizona market with AC costs. And I do run the houses at 72 degrees to make everybody happy. But that's $200 a week, so $800 a month.
Are people not allowed to touch your thermostat?
I do have it set, the bottom limit's 72, so they can touch it all they want, but as low as it's going to go is 72, and it does go up to 74 at night past 10 o'clock.
Interesting.
Why?
I like it.
Well, I mean, it's expensive, man.
I know, it definitely is. I just think it's the coolest model where a member gets their utilities paid for. That's electric, that's power, or that's water, that's gas, if there is gas in the house. That's also internet.
Yeah.
Like, they're saving money on internet. You're not doing slow internet.
No, and I'm doing the next tier up, actually, because I'm trying to retain the members as much as I can. So I do, we do granite countertops, quartz and some, stainless steel, very nice, cleaning twice a month, things like that. I respond to things maintenance-wise instantly. I'm providing a really good service. I'm trying to basically beat out my competition, to be honest. But that's what we're doing.
Where do you think the future of co-living is? Are you going to continue to buy in Arizona? Do you think it's oversaturated? Do you think it's just getting started? Do you think the biggest problem is that people are just not aware of it, meaning the potential members are not even aware that renting by the room is a possibility? Do you think that we have a long road to get to a point where it's even fully optimized? What are your thoughts on the future of this?
I think we're just getting started, unfortunately. The economy, the state it's in, there is no more middle class. It's just getting evaporated. So yeah, unfortunately, I think that's happening. But we're providing a service as entrepreneurs, like you'd said earlier. So we're providing a service for people that can't afford those expensive costs of the regular apartments. So
it's a constant problem, guys. Whoever you are, Democrat or Republican, do yourself a favor and focus on being an entrepreneur. That's what Jarrod's done. He's focused on since January of this year. He's generated 24 affordable units in the marketplace.
25. I got one in Oregon too.
25. So think about 25 units you've added to the marketplace that are all affordable. That is how we solve the problem, is getting entrepreneurs to actually solve the problem. Okay. You got any bad horror stories? People you've had to kick out, bad apples, anybody that caused riffraff and stuff like that?
Yeah, I had one guy, and it's actually my fault. I should have done a better job of screening. But yeah, it was super loud, smoking in the house, very aggressive, and he drove off 5 members. And I learned the hard way that you should attack that early. The first 2 left, and I suspected, but I didn't know for sure, and I didn't want to be accusatory. And then I really, the third person that moved out, this is all within like 1 month, I really asked her, I said, hey, can you please help me out? And she said she would after she moved out. So when she moved out, she told me all the stuff that was going on. So yeah, so that was a pretty bad one. But he left amicably, no problems. I said, hey, you say nice things, I'll say nice things, go on down the road, and he left.
So out of how many members do you think you've had in a year? 100?
I think probably somewhere in the 80 to 90 range.
Okay, so you're nearing 100. So let's just say 85 that you're at right now, and you've been in the business for a year. No, you've been in the business 10 months. You've had about 85 members. You've had one really bad apple, and he caused 5 people to leave.
Yeah.
How quickly were you able to fill that spot?
We haven't filled it all. Well, the spot we filled almost immediately, but then because he drove off so many, we're at 6 now. So we're 2 more to go. We weren't at full. We were at 7 anyway. So 1 more to go, and I'll be back up to capacity. So that's the reason for the 1,500 net, by the way, because this happened a month and a half ago. So we're rebuilding fairly quickly.
Are you aware? I know you're newer. You're 10 months in. Are you aware of what your average resident is sticking around?
Average is about 5.5 months.
Dang, that's so good.
It's pretty good. That's not normal, I don't think, though. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I came into this guns a-blazing, like right out from the beginning. Nicer areas, like I don't invest in bad areas. So it does cost me a little bit more, about 50 grand more or so, but that 50 grand is worth it. Even from that original model where I was investing, I pivoted because of the supply was so much. And now I'm finding that the area does matter, but even 10 miles north, near TSMC, those are not only are they more, I'm 7 of 8 on average, but the tenant base is different as well, and they're staying longer. So I imagine over time, I'm going to be migrating east, by the way. I'm new, so I came into Glendale, and then that market, because of its affordability, got saturated with supply, so I'm sort of migrating east. So I think it'll get better and better as I go.
Interesting. Are you having any issues with the common things everybody worries about? Parking, tenant fights, neighbors complaining?
No, because parking is one of my main priorities when I'm looking at my buy box. And so if it doesn't have parking, I don't even look at it. Even if it's a smoking, well, if it's a smoking deal, I might. But yeah, I try to pay attention to parking and the neighborhoods. So I try to hit like the B minus C plus neighborhoods. I don't want to be anywhere near the A because that's probably not going to fly. Like you said earlier, what's a NIMDA, not in my backyard kind of thing, and I don't want to deal with that. So plus the tenant base or member base I'm looking at, it's going to be, the cost to acquire in that area is going to be a little higher. Unless I can find a smoking SubTo deal, then maybe I might try that. But
okay, so you keep mentioning members when sometimes I'll say resident, I'll say tenant. Why is resident and tenant the wrong way to describe these people?
the lawyers, the legal stuff. So there's tenant laws in place. Some of the municipalities, can't say that word, words are hard. The municipalities have tenant laws where some of them will have like 2 or 3 non-family members can't be in a house, things like that. So with the member agreement, which is what we have, you're a member. So you're a member of an LLC, let's say, and then as a member, you have rights to this property, basically like a gym membership, but week to week.
And as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that's going to be easy to penetrate. There's been properties that are doing co-living that went public 20 years ago on the New York Stock Exchange, and there's 2 other companies that will end up going public. You don't realize how common this is. It's not until probably about 18 to 24 months ago that it hit the scene in the real estate, solo operator investment space. But there's big organizations that have been doing this for a very, very long time, and you don't hear about it. But now I'm starting to see Sacramento just released incentives for investors to bring more co-living properties into their marketplace because they need affordable housing so badly, and building is just not an option for them. So why is this your future focus? Why is it your focus now, and why will it continue to be your focus? What do you like about it?
Cash flow. I'm sorry, I just capitalist in me, cash flow. It's ridiculous. It's really good. Well, for me, it's also taxes, but the cash flow. We are, I can tell you, we're providing good service, which we are, but mainly, I'm just going to be honest, it's cash flow.
Wow, you're so greedy.
Hey, man.
How dare you want to take care of your retirement?
Yeah.
Here's a good question. You've worked at Intel for a very long time.
24 years.
The 24 years you put into Intel versus the cash that you will accumulate in these 3 rentals just in 1 year, which one would you rather take?
So I'm at Intel, and I can tell you, working there, hopefully nobody at Intel's watching this, I can tell you working there is actually costing me money. But I have a plan, and March of next year, then after that, all holds are lifted because I have a certain amount of debt I'm trying to pay off and not the mortgages. But it's the future, and I'm going to jump on board. I just have to get some things squared away. I'm trying to get a good base. I want to get at least 1 year under my belt before I actually have people throwing money at me, believe it or not, and I'm 10 months in. How weird is that? But I'm telling them no because I want to make sure I have at least a year of history. I wouldn't invest with somebody who doesn't have at least a year, at least a tax return or something. So that's what I'm doing.
I love it. So how can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can ping me on Instagram, REI Jarrod, Jarrod, or on YouTube, same thing, REI Jarrod.
Now, guys, if you're in the SubTo community, Jarrod is also in the SubTo community. He's looking to buy deals inside of the market here in Arizona. You're focusing primarily on Central Phoenix or East Valley, correct?
Thank you for that. Yes, I am.
Cool. So you guys can get a hold of him in the SubTo Facebook group, or you guys can send over a message to him, Instagram, REI Jarrod, or head over to his YouTube channel. What are you making over there? Co-living stuff?
Yeah, it's all co-living. I've documented every step of the way, including construction on all 3 properties. I even break down financing. I'm doing velocity banking, so I'm taking in multiple strategies to maximize, that's the IT geek in me, to maximize profits and maximize return, and everything's super efficient.
Awesome, bro. Great having you here. Thank you so much. Let's go downstairs, and you're going to watch me lock up some deals.
All right.
Later.